It was this incredible opportunity for people from all over the world to try to keep up with the explorer that pretty much walked around the equator and the Arctic Circle. It was a little bit challenging. So we were diving at a time when I've heard this massive explosion. Just having these experiences that normally would never have, it was absolutely fantastic. My name is Zofia and I'm an environmental educator at Calshot Activities Centre. I work with children and actually people of all ages, trying to inspire them to care for the ocean, for the environment, and teaching them outdoor activities. I come from a family that's always been interested in sailing. My grandfather and father have been sailing around the world for as long as I remember. They're both master mariners. And I looked for a career that combines this passion for sailing and oceans with the love for adventure. So this is exactly what I found here. When I was 17 years old, I was invited to join the famous explorer Mike Horn on a Pangaea program. It stands for a Pan-Global Adventure for Environmental Action. And it was this incredible opportunity for people from all over the world, for young people, to learn about the environment, to embark on a series of adventures on this 115 feet sailing vessel that was going around the world. So we spent 3 weeks sailing amongst the breathtakingly beautiful fjords of New Zealand. We then worked with the University of Otago on a project with bottlenose dolphins. That's the largest bottlenose dolphins in the world, and we took photographic thin IDs of those dolphins, and also did some work with temperature and salinity profiles, so a bit of ocean sciences or oceanography. The trip also involved going trekking over the mountains and just exploring the pristine, beautiful, unspoiled world. One of the highlights was trekking the Dusky Trek, one of the famous and challenging treks in the Fjordlands. It usually takes about 8 to 10 days, but we did it in 4 days. Tried to keep up with the explorer that pretty much walked around the equator and the Arctic Circle. It was a little bit challenging, but absolutely fantastic. And then living on a boat with a group of people was like-minded people. Just having these experiences that normally would never have was absolutely fantastic. Challenges. Some people were seasick. I don't suffer from seasickness, so that was quite lucky. I think living in close proximity with quite a large group of people on a sailing vessel might sometimes be a little bit challenging. I think there's sort of a good lesson about sustainability, and living on a boat is a bit like living on one planet with limited resources and limited space, and you have to be kind and good to each other to maintain good spirits on a small space. You share that space with 15 plus people. Then it can be quite physically demanding to try to keep up with a very fit explorer that Mike is. But I wouldn't say it was incredibly challenging. It was definitely rewarding. Since the expedition to New Zealand, I had the chance to join Mike and his team on several other projects. One was the special Borneo Act project, where we got to witness firsthand the destruction of coral reefs in Sabah, the northern part of Borneo. I remember seeing the destructive, detrimental methods, fishing methods and practices that are used there. So we were actually under the water. We were diving at the time when I've heard this massive explosion, and it turned out to be dynamite fishing. So at the moment I thought that maybe somebody's tank exploded, counted all the people, we've ascended, went back to the boat, and the captain said that 2 kilometers away there was an explosion of dynamite, so fishing practice that is incredibly destructive to the coral reefs. We've actually seen those big holes whilst diving from the previous dynamite explosions, but never actually heard it before. It's quite a non-selective fishing method, so you'd see lots of fish dead, and a lot of them are inedible or colorful reef fish, but the fishermen would only pick up a few that are edible. So seeing these things firsthand and going to schools and trying to educate people about these practices was quite an interesting experience. Then I got to join the crew again on a shark project in South Africa, and we worked with the University of Cape Town in tagging broad-nosed 7-gill sharks. So that was a fantastic another experience with the Pangaea expeditions. And since then, I also got to sail across the Atlantic Ocean, taking water samples for a microplastic study. So this love for sailing carried on, and we decided to get a Rival 32 that we're now sailing on. Last summer we sailed sort of halfway across Britain and back. We got to the Outer Hebrides and back. So I guess it is an ongoing adventure. I think that all these adventures have made me the person that I am today. And when I teach the young people here at Calshot, every day I still come back to these stories from when we got to dive in Borneo with bioluminescent plankton, and I tell them about the magic of the ocean whilst describing what happened on these expeditions when we had bioluminescent plankton around us and diving on shipwrecks, or when we were tagging the sharks. This is what the children here find incredibly interesting and exciting. So it is fantastic to have had these experiences, to be able to use them in my everyday teaching. Inspired by the Pangaea expeditions and knowing how much of an impact it had on me as a young person, I've always dreamt to bring something similar to our work and offer this opportunity to the next generation. This year we're launching for the first time the Young Environmental Leaders Camp at Calshot, and we're hoping to attract young, keen people that are interested in protecting the environment and offer them this opportunity to engage with nature, to try something new, to learn an activity they've never done before, to have a challenging week. It will be a summer residential week-long program where young people can learn about ocean sciences whilst kayaking on the Solent or sailing, really feel the love for the ocean whilst learning about it. So we're hoping to give this passion for the environment and instill it in the next generation here at Calshot. To anyone that's doing something similar, I would say don't be afraid to look for the opportunities, to actively seek them out and apply for them. Give it your best. Sometimes it won't be even advertised. Go and ask people if something is available. I remember going to the Polish Academy of Sciences and asking if I can get on their scientific cruise to the Arctic, and they said unfortunately they don't accept any students, and I said it's perfect because I'm not a university student yet, and they managed to find the space for me and cover all the expenses to go to the Arctic. So it is really possible to sort of put your name out there, ask for opportunities, and be enthusiastic and hopefully get there.